right here. At home. Protect your out. We put the work in. Let's finish. Come on, man. Let's do this. Family up here. 1, 2, 3.
You see, we dream chase, because that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized the dream was obtainable. Now look at us.
What's going on, Eagles Nation and TMTP family? Welcome back to another episode here on the Main Thing Podcast presents. It's your bull, Mr. Owns. And after further review, the call stands. I'm still official with no stripes. We're back. We got the Main Thing Podcast presents family in the building with us. And y'all already know it's always a glorious and dope time every time we link up. But look, today we got a lot to talk about. The Eagles have been making moves all week that go way deeper than football. We're talking about a reunion that could change everything for Arthur, Juan, K, mentally and physically. A crucial offensive line decision that shows this team really learned from last year. And finally, the NFL quietly backing off the Tush Push drama after all that noise and chatter that was happening previously, right? But here's the thing, though, family. These aren't just transactions. These are culture moves. These are locker room moves. And these are long-term identity moves. So look, before we tap into all that, dive all up in that, look, to our loyal supporters, thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all know it's all love. The Main Thing Podcast presents can't happen without the support from y'all. And to our new supporters, welcome to the community and our family. Let's continue to do our part for the community and our family. Please continue to like the videos. It does help with the visibility of our channel in that algorithm. Disrespect that comment section, share, and subscribe to the community and our content. And last but not least, y'all know I'm going to remind y'all, make sure to turn on them noties and keep your ears and eyes peeled to the streets like your local neighborhood watch. So you don't miss when me and Big Huss drop this pressure on y'all. So look, let's start with the headline move, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. The Eagles have signed wide receiver Elijah Moore, but this isn't just about adding another weapon to our arsenal. This is truly about Arthur Juan K. And if you don't understand that, man, look, y'all already left in the rear view. Y'all already left behind, because these two just aren't former teammates. They're brothers. They're truly locked in with each other. They were roommates at Ole Miss. They built a bond way before the NFL was even a thought. Elijah Moore was literally someone Arthur Juan K trusted enough to live with him. And AJ, Arthur Juan, even said it himself. He doesn't let people do that. And look, I don't blame him one bit. But that tells you everything that you need to know. Arthur Juan once said, there's just something about him, his energy, he lights up the room. Elijah Moore was there for Arthur Juan K mentally. But here's something that people don't really talk too much about. When Arthur Juan was going through the things that he was going through, the pressure, the expectations, the mental battles, guess who was there? I'll give you 3 seconds. Time's up. If you guessed Elijah Moore, ding, ding, ding. Come on down. You are a winner. But on a serious note, Elijah Moore was one of the people who helped him stay grounded. Let's be real, though. There's been noise and chatter around Arthur Juan K with him being frustrated this past season, the trade rumors that have been swirling and circulating from last season into this offseason, questions about his role within the franchise and his emotional ups and downs. We know he got them Twitter thumbs, them Twitter fingers. You see what I'm saying? But let's ask ourselves this question. What happens when you bring in someone he trusts like family? This move gives Arthur Juan emotional stability, a trusted voice in the locker room, and personally someone who just understands him off the field. And that matters, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, just as much as anything that Arthur Juan does on the football field. But this is truly why the Eagles are such a special organization. They don't just build rosters, they build environments and a culture where players can thrive. And yeah, the organization supports you, but having someone who feels like a blood brother, that hits different. That's how you keep your stars happy, keep your locker room strong and intact, and keep your culture together. Now, look, let's not ignore the football aspect of this, okay? Elijah Moore brings route running precision. He has separation ability, and he's versatile in the slot and can play outside. Something that the Eagles specialize when looking for players is versatility. But here's the bigger picture. Click, click. He doesn't need to be our wide receiver one. He doesn't need to carry any pressure here in Philadelphia. He just needs to complement Arthur Juan K, Devontae Slim Reaper Smith, Marquise Hollywood Brown, and the rest of that receiver room. And when your wide receiver one, such as Arthur Juan K is comfortable, locked in mentally, and supported, that's when you're going to get the best version of Arthur Juan K. But here's the big question, family. Does this stop trade rumors regarding Arthur Juan K? Obviously, we don't know yet, but one thing is clear. It definitely does not hurt. Now, let's talk about a move that might not be too flashy, but it's absolutely critical. And I do mean critical. The Eagles are bringing back offensive tackle Fred Johnson on a 1-year deal. Big Fred. Look, the Eagles saw what happened last year, right? When Lane Johnson went down with that Liz Frank injury, everything changed in just a snap of a finger. And that's when Big Fred had to step in immediately. All right. Now, let's keep this honest. Big Fred had 626 snaps played, and he ranked 71st out of 94 tackles. That's not elite. We know that. But this is where context plays a pivotal and key role in this conversation. The entire offensive line struggled last season in 2025. The run game stalled last season in 2025. And the system just wasn't consistent in 2025 under Kevin Patullo. So it's not fair to put all the blame on Fred Johnson. But here's what the Eagles are saying with this move. We are not getting caught lacking again. Don't get caught slipping and miss your mission. All right? Jewels, gems. I hope y'all picking up what I just put down. But look, offensive line depth is everything in the NFL. We know that's Howard Roseman's bread and butter. You build from within. You build in the trenches, and then you build out. So Fred Johnson knows the system. He has starting experience, and he has already proven that he can step in under pressure. But last year, Fred, he wanted a starting job. And hey, who am I to criticize him about wanting a starting job in the NFL? Who doesn't want to start a job in the NFL, right? But now this move shows that Big Fred understands that his best opportunity is right here in Philadelphia. And now with new offensive line coach Chris Keeper, there's still room for development. Championship teams, they don't just have stars that shine bright, they have depth. And that's exactly how you build it. We can go back to 2017 when we won the Super Bowl. We had depth on both sides of the football. Even in 2022, when we should have won that Super Bowl and got hosed and cheated, we all know it still kind of burns me up. It burns me. It does. It irks me. But look, we can't go back in the past. We can only focus on the present, right? In the future. But 2022, we had depth on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. And then when we went down to New Orleans and got our second bowl in 2024, y'all saw the depth on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball. In football, depth is key. You're only as strong as your weakest link, and injuries can happen. It's part of the game. So you always have to have someone who's ready to step in if an injury does happen to occur, and be ready to step up and handle their business that they're supposed to on the football field. Now let's talk about the drama, about the noise, about the nonsense, the controversy, if it's a better word for you. The play everyone loves to complain about when our birds run it, the brotherly shove, or better known as the tush push. So here are some of the facts. There's going to be no banning of the tush push for the upcoming 2026 season. No real momentum to remove it. Go figure, right? You need 24 votes, and that's just not happening. So let's be clear right now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. The brotherly shove, aka the tush push, is here to stay. Now, here is where it gets interesting and intriguing. Everybody had something to say about the tush push and the brotherly shove when the Eagles were running it. It's safety concerns. It's unfair. It shouldn't be allowed. It should be banned. They're cheating. QB1, he only can get rushing yards when he does the brotherly shove. They don't have no creativeness over in Philadelphia. That's what fans, organizations, media, and analysts wanted you to believe, right? So look, real quick, I'm gonna give y'all a little story time, the Main Thing Podcast Presents version, all right, by yours truly, Mr. Owens. So if any of y'all have watched 8 Mile before, right, y'all remember when Eminem was trying to become a battle rap star. So he used to go down to the shelter and battle all the different battle rappers and things like that. And he got into a match with the character that was named Lotto, right? So in the film, Eminem had went back at Lotto and was like, hoopity hoopla, blah, 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 hoopla, hoopla. That's kind of what the fans, the organizations, the media, the analysts, that's what they all sound like when they talked about the tush push regarding our Philadelphia Eagles. It's just a bird chirping. Just get up out of here. Let's get some space. But let's take a look around the National Football League. We all know Josh Allen, the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, he leads the league in attempts in the brotherly shove, aka the tush push, right? But wasn't the Bills last year trying to get it banned over safety concerns? The Packers, who was the front running team, that wanted to get the tush push or the brotherly shove ban last season. They were all up in the front saying, "Yeah, we're the team that did it." Didn't they run it with their quarterback Jordan Love? The Seahawks, who just won the Super Bowl. I have no beef with y'all, but they run it with their tight ends, with AJ Barner, right? The Steelers. If you guess D, all the above, they run the same way that the Seahawks run it with the tight end, right? And then when you look at college football, you see the tush push, aka the brotherly shove, being used everywhere by everybody and their moms, right? So let me ask y'all this, family. Why is it only a problem when our Philadelphia Eagles do it? I'll wait. Time's up. You know why? Here's the truth about our Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are held to a different standard per usual. When they win, it's a problem. When they lose, it's a problem. When they innovate and be creative, it's a problem. You see the recurring theme and pattern here. And when it comes to our franchise Super Bowl winning MVP QB1, the goalpost always gets moved further and further. Now, here's where I'm going to challenge things. I do actually think that the Eagles should start moving away from the brotherly shove, aka the tush push. Not completely abandon it, but let's evolve from the brotherly shove. Some positives about using the brotherly shove less is it will keep defenses guessing and keep them honest on that side of the football. It will reduce physical wear and tear on our offensive line. We saw how Cam Jurgens came and said, look, after we ran the tush push 3 or 4 times back to back, whatever, he said that he could not walk. His back was hurting. And I started to kind of see why our offensive linemen were breaking down last season, because we ran the tush push like nobody's business in 2024. It's all fun and games when we're picking up that 2 yards or the 3 yards or we're getting that towed out. But we always have to keep in mind that our offensive linemen go through pain when they have to run that brotherly shove. We saw Cam Jurgens injured last season. We saw Landon Dickerson injured last season. And we saw Pave the Lane Johnson injured last season. But then also running it less, it will expand offensive creativity, something that we didn't have under Kevin Patullo. And I'm hoping and I'm pretty certain that Sean Mannion will bring some creativeness to this offense, being that he is originally from the Shanahan, Sean McVay tree. So you know that he's going to implement some creativeness in our offense for the 2026 season. But then it also forces development in short yardage play calling, because last year, let's be honest, folks, under Kevin Patullo, teams really just started adjusting because everything was becoming too predictable. All right. And it wasn't as automatic as it was in years past. So now it's about staying ahead of the league again. And that's what Howard Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie and the Philadelphia Eagles plan to continue doing. But the tush push, the brotherly shove, it isn't going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. But the Eagles don't need to rely on it to dominate. We dominate with our trench play. We dominate with our offensive line. We dominate with the talent that we have on that side of the football. And that's what makes this organization and team truly dangerous. So, family, when you zoom out and you open up the curtain and look at everything that happened this week, this wasn't random. This was intentional. This was strategic. And this was culture driven. You support your superstar with the signing of Elijah Moore. You protect your trenches with signing Fred Johnson, Big Fred. and you stay ahead of the league and the curve, even when they're trying to continue to slow you down. This is how you continue building something special and how you continue cultivating the culture that we have implemented here in Philadelphia. But y'all, this is the end of my Eagles report for this week. I really want to give our family and our supporters a shout out. Y'all are the main reason why we continue showing up every single day, putting out this content for y'all and giving y'all the best version of ourselves, man. Look, because when me and Big Hus started this just under 2 years ago, we didn't know what it entailed. We didn't know what the future will hold. But having the family and having the supporters that we have, it just motivates us every single day to make sure that we give y'all the best content that we can possibly give y'all. And y'all support matters. Y'all show up for us every single day. And we got to give y'all kudos and give y'all praise for that. So I'm going to give y'all a clap because y'all are the engine that keeps this train moving, but it ain't gonna stop. We ain't gonna stop over here, all right? But look, Big Hus will be dropping his video tomorrow, so keep y'all ears and eyes peeled to the streets for that. But look, I hope that y'all all had a blessed, and I mean blessed, week. And if you do end up going out this weekend, please, 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 as my mom says, make smart choices and wise decisions because we want to see y'all back and we want to reconvene very, very soon. But to our loyal supporters, thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all know it's all love. The Main Thing Podcast presents can't happen without the support from y'all. And to our new supporters, welcome to the community and our family. Let's continue to do our part for the community and our family. Please continue to like the videos. It does help with the visibility of our channel in that algorithm. Disrespect that comment section, share, and subscribe to the community and our content. And last but not least, I'm going to tap you on your shoulder and remind you, make sure to turn on that notification bell, also known as that Liberty Bell looking thingy, so you don't miss when Swoop comes out with the Eagles news and updates. And in this time frame, if you forgot who I am, don't worry about it. I'll gladly remind you. I go by Mr. Owns, and this is the Main Thing Podcast presents where we keep the main thing the main thing. Y'all already know it's always love. Y'all continue to stay blessed. And until next time.
It was I was gonna make a lot of money doing what I wanted to do. I went after it, and it was a struggle to achieve it. But you know what? I caught that bitch. Dream chasing.